St. Louis here?
Last time I was here?
Yeah.
I think I was here about 3 years ago, but I didn't get downtown. I did a card show out by the airport somewhere.
Yeah.
It's always a fun town to come to. I used to like to come here because Old Bush Stadium, we stayed right across from.
Yeah.
You could walk to the ballpark.
Yeah.
You know, other than Cincinnati, I don't think there's any other city you can walk to the ballpark from downtown.
Yeah, and you had two. I've talked to you on the phone before. I called you when I did something on Museo's last game, but you were there for that.
Yeah.
And then 18 years later, you're at Busch Stadium when you break his record.
Philly. I was at Veterans
I thought
Stadium.
you were at Busch
Veterans
Stadium. That was at Veterans Stadium.
That was
and then Museo.
Actually, that was the first day back from the '81 strike.
Right.
And Stan was there.
Right.
He had them white shoes on. I remember that.
Was that?
Yeah, it was fun because, you know, for the man to go out of his way to come to Philadelphia to congratulate me for beating his record. I'll never forget the last game he played. My manager was Fred Hutchinson, who was good friends with Stan. And I was a rookie, and it was pretty obvious I was going to be Rookie of the Year. And they lined us up down the first base line, the Reds, and the Cardinals were down the third base line. And Hutch said, "I want you to sit by me." You know, in other words, I was the second guy.
Yeah.
So I was the closest player to Stan when he got up to give his acceptance speech. He said, "This is something special. I want you to watch it." And then, of course, he got to hit his last time up, and he hit to my left, and Nick was a right fielder. He threw it into me, and I gave it to Stan again. And that day before the game, he wrote me a ball. He said to Pete, for best wishes for many hits.
Wow.
And I don't think he had any idea I was going to break his record.
You still have it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was a class guy. I mean, just a one-team guy, you know, top 5 player in the history of baseball. He's right up there with Aaron, Mays, Ruth, and those guys.
Yeah.
They're all together.
Yeah.
They're all together.
You two used to talk batting a little bit. Can you give us just like a snapshot?
With Stan?
Yeah, with Stan.
No, Stan would always just talk about being confident and trying to hit the ball hard, which is the way I am. He wasn't real technical. Like the opposite of Stan was probably Ted Williams. You know, Ted Williams, if you listen to him talk about hitting, you wouldn't know whether to whine your ass or scratch your watch. Because, you know, he's just so technical. It's the way Tony Gwynn was. He was an advocate of Ted Williams. I was more like Stan Musial. Just, you know the pitcher, see the ball, and hit it wherever it's pitched. You know, use the whole field. And,
You enjoying your time on Fox Sports?
well, I've only had 3 shows, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun because I get to do what I like to do, and that's just watch baseball games and get on the set and talk about them. And, you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. If a guy makes a mental mistake, you got to bring it up, but don't criticize him.
Yeah.
But if he continuously makes the mental mistake, you know, you have to make him aware of what they're doing. Because to be honest with you, the way baseball is played today, and I guarantee I watch more games than anybody sitting in front of me right now on a daily basis. The fundamentals just aren't there. They just aren't there. But there again, then you ask yourself, when do big league teams have time to practice fundamentals? Once they leave spring training, they don't have no time. They're not going to get out to the ballpark at 2 or 3 o'clock. I don't know about the Cardinals, but I don't think, are the Cardinals one of those teams, nobody takes infield practice no more?
They still do it.
The Cardinals do?
Yeah.
Most teams don't take infield practice.
Once they don't do it all the time.
Well, when I played, if you didn't take infield practice for Sparky, you didn't play. He said there must be something wrong with you because he thought infield practice was part of the ticket. And I know some of these ballparks today, the fans don't even get to see the home team take batting practice because the gates aren't open yet. You know, I used to have guys that I would tell my son who to watch. You know, I'd say, watch Ozzie play shortstop. So watch Mike Schmidt take ground balls to third. Watch Dave Winfield throw from right field. If you want to watch hitting, watch your old man. That's what I'd tell him. I had players I'd tell him to watch, but now you can't do that.
So were the players of your era tougher than the players?
Oh, I don't know. There's some tough players out there today. I think the big difference in my era compared to today is we always had 1-year contracts. See, and when you got a 1-year contract, I got paid in '73 for what I did in '72. And if I missed 30 or 40 games, and I don't get 2 earned hits, or I don't score 100 runs, or I don't hit 300, then I'm going to go in there with negotiate with my pants down. What am I going to tell him? Boy, I got 150 hits. Well, you played. What do you mean 150 hits? You know.
So you think that
Stevie Wonder could get 150 hits.
More performance contracts in today's day?
Well, Sparky said it one time, and I'm not so sure he wasn't correct. He said, give me 25 players that go to spring training every year on the last year of their contract, and I'll go to the World Series every year.
Pete, how
But
different?
more power to them. If they can get multi-year contracts, you know, they got to be relaxed. I mean, if you got a 5-year contract making $15 million a year, and you're in the second year of it, how can there be pressure if you get a hit? You know, pressure's when you got $5,000 worth of bills a month and you only make $3,000. That's pressure. You know, not these players making millions of dollars. I get a kick out. Pressure. What's pressure in baseball? First of all, the only pressure in baseball, other than a hitting streak, is the playoffs. Because the playoffs, you're playing against guys you played against all summer, playing in front of fans you played in front of all summer. And the winner goes to the World Series and the loser goes home. And sure, you want to win a World Series if you get into it, but, you know, it's not the end of the world if you lose a World Series. Being there is what it's all about. Being in the Super Bowl, it's all like. Being in the Stanley Cup Finals is what it's all about. Being in the NBA Championship, what it's all about. You know, and I had the pleasure of playing the 6 World Series. I've lost 3, won 3, played in 8 playoffs. So it happens.
How many
You
All-Star
were,
games?
I played in 17 All-Star games. The only one we lost was 71, and they beat us up in Detroit. However, when we played in the All-Star games, we used to have a pregame pep talk by the president of the National League, whose name was Warren Giles, who was Bill Giles' dad. Okay, and he seriously believes that the All-Star game was his opportunity to show the world that the National League was superior to the American League. I mean, his veins would pop out. If you guys don't win this game, you won't make the team next year. And you wanted to make the team, that's another negotiating tool you have. And I remember my first All-Star game was 1965, and I was a kid. And the guy lockered me in between Mays and Aaron. I was saying, what the hell am I doing here? Willie Mays sitting there and Hank Aaron. And I'll never forget those guys. They made me feel like I was one of the guys. That's why I love those guys. Because I was part of the team, and we were trying to win the game. You know, and I'll tell you how the American League was. One of my Little League teammates is named Eddie Brinkman, played for Washington, played for Detroit. He was in the American League at that time. And I asked him about Sam McDowell, and he said he's got a fastball and a curveball. And he got me 2 strikes and threw me a hard slider and struck me out. Eddie, when he helped me out, he told me what he didn't have. Trying to win the game. He's not even on the damn team.
Pete, you have 2, you're a part of, you have many, but 2 records. I can't foresee ever, I wonder your thoughts about whether they'd ever, you're in more winning games in any athlete in any sport.
1972.
Yeah. And your hits record. Can you foresee the hits record ever? I mean, nobody's.
Well, like I said the other day on Fox, I don't think anybody will beat it while I'm alive. And if they do it after I'm gone, I don't give a damn. you know, most of your longevity records will last because players just don't. First of all, they don't need to play 20 years today.
Yeah.
And if you're a good player is going to be needed to break the record you just told us about. And if you're a good player, you can't afford to pay him that long. And my A-Rod get two $250 million contracts? I mean, he'd have to get another $250 million contracts to play in 1972 winning games. You know, but never say never, because I'll guarantee you when Ty Cobb retired, he didn't think anybody beat his record. I beat the longest standing record. Ty Cobb's last year was 32, wasn't it? And I broke his record in 85.
Right.
I mean, I don't know when